I'd like to share with you one of my most favorite itineraries that Viking does, and it's called the Ancient Mediterranean Treasures Itinerary. And you can either begin or end your voyage in Istanbul, and you'll take in some amazing Turkish and Greek ports and learn phenomenal amounts of history from some very friendly, knowledgeable people and some amazing Mediterranean cuisine. And of course, the sites and buildings and temples and mosques are just amazing in this part of the world. So allow me just a couple of minutes to share my particular voyage that I did and some of the things that I did on that journey. This is a very interesting part of the world because of how much it played into ancient world history. And this particular area navigated and conquered by several, and you'll learn all about that as you visit each port of call. It's 8 days, and you can either begin again in Istanbul or in Athens. And what I like about it is the fact that we overnight in the beginning and at the end of the itinerary, which gives you a chance to spend time in the day partaking in a shore excursion. And then at night, you'll come back to the ship, maybe have dinner aboard the ship, and then head out and see what the nightlife has to offer for these different cities. My particular journey began in Istanbul, and it is a phenomenal place to visit. It's a great mix of both Eastern and Western cultures. It's actually where two continents come together. You've got the European continent and the Asian continent connected. Right in the middle is the Bosphorus Strait. A lot of people will actually cross the bridge from one continent to the other, but a lot of people will take part in the tours that we offer, visiting the structures, the mosques, the minarets, go to the spice market or the Grand Bazaar. The spice market is one of my favorite places I've ever been, just because of the phenomenal sense that you take in when you're visiting there. Perhaps you'll go to the Grand Bazaar and look at carpets. The art of selling carpets it's amazing how many different carpets there are, the colors that they come in, and how quickly they can demonstrate and show you all the different features that they have. They're phenomenal. Going to Istanbul, a must is going into the hamam, which is a Turkish bath, and there are several, and you do have the opportunity to go as part of a shore excursion. You might want to go to see the Blue Mosque or the Hagia Sophia, or one of the lesser known mosques, but it's beautiful to go to, is the Rustem Pasha Mosque. The Blue Mosque gets all the tourists and real interest, but this is a beautiful mosque that was built in 1561. It's one of the city's hidden treasures. Day 3 finds us in Troy and the city of Çanakkale, and it is the closest city to the city of Troy, and it's a very strategic part of the Aegean Sea. It was an object of desire to conquer this area dating way back to the ancient Greeks. Here we see an example of the famous Horse of Troy. When I was there, we were able to take part in a tour where we saw the city walls of Troy. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it gives you a glimpse into the city's former glory, hints of what life must have been like when Alexander the Great and the Roman Emperor Augustus visited this particular part of the world. One of my favorite places on this particular tour of the city was going into the Archaeological Museum of Troy. And that's where they've gathered all the different pieces, and it's displayed phenomenally. And I could have spent hours just walking around taking pictures and looking at the beautiful carvings and really the ornate pieces that have been collected and preserved. Day 4 of our journey finds us in Ephesus, Turkey, in Kusadasi. Just a small drive from the ship, we were able to visit this beautiful Roman city. Excavations date back to the 10th century BC. And at one time, it did host one of the 7 wonders of the world, the Temple of Artemis. And you'll be able to see some beautiful buildings, an amphitheater, Most people know the city for the Library of Celsus, that was once built to hold about 12,000 scrolls. The amphitheater or Colosseum was built to hold 25,000 people. And of course, the Temple of Celsus is known for its colonnaded facade, and it's a great example of Roman public building architecture. And when you visit the city, there's an included tour. At the very end, you'll be able to see these wonderful demonstrations of the Turkish carpet, how they're created, and if you do decide to buy one, I love mine. I splurged and bought one, and it's one of my most prized possessions of all my travel. Another optional excursion that you might partake in is our biblical history and beautiful vistas itinerary. You may be able to view the home of one of the most famous women of biblical history. And this is just a short drive from Ephesus. It has been said that St. John brought Mary, the mother of Jesus, to live out her final days after the crucifixion in this particular area. You'll be able to see her home. On day 5, we visit Rhodes in Greece. The Acropolis of Lindos is a must-see. Also, the Old Town, where you'll have a chance to maybe shop a little bit and dine and maybe go to a cafe and have a cup of coffee. It's known as the Island of Knights, and it prospered from the wealth brought here from the Holy Land and the Knights of St. John of Jerusalem. And again, it's a fascinating building. It was once a castle. It was once a royal palace. In this particular city, mythology tells us that Zeus was born here, and Theseus destroyed the Minotaur of Knossos. Now, I was able to go to Crete, and that's where you'll go to the Temple of Knossos. It is a beautiful area to visit for the archaeological museum that they have. It is the Crete capital, and there's just a short drive to Old Town. You might opt to go for a walk and visit the Hercleion, which is a Venetian fortress in Crete as well. The Palace of Knossos, very interesting site to visit outside of the city. It was fabled to be the palace of King Minos, and you'll have a chance to visit a Cretan village and see the island's splendor. It was once known as a royal residence where Minos' wife gave birth to the Minotaur, which was half bull and half man. And Theseus is the person that has been said to have destroyed the beast. You're going to learn all kinds of ancient Greek history. The people that share it, they're very well studied and know the history, and they're more than willing to take a little bit extra time to share it with you and how it all connects. Day 7 finds us in Athens, the port area of Piraeus. What I like to do is to go to the Plaka area. It's at the base of the Acropolis. There are so many other things to see. We come into the Miklo Romano Marina. It's at the city's heart. You'll be able to see the Hellenic Parliament, the Constitution Square, the Pantheatic Stadium, the Temple of Zeus, and of course, the iconic Acropolis. And the Acropolis is right at the base of the Acropolis is where you find the Plaka district. And this is all part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site as well. The Pantheatic Stadium of Athens, it was the first to host the modern Olympics back in 1896. And my favorite thing to do actually is to go into the Plaka and to dine on this wonderful Greek cuisine, spanakopita, which is spinach and feta with phyllo pastry, have wine and olives and walnuts. It's just amazing. But not too far from there is where you'll find the Acropolis Museum. It's rather new. It was built in 2009. There's over 4,200 different objects in the museum. It was built actually over an extensive archaeological site. And there's a glass floor that you walk upon that'll bring you into the museum. And you can actually pass over an excavation site. And of course, visiting Athens at night is phenomenal. The way the lights come up on the Pantheon and the Temple of Athena, and you'll have that chance to spend that night because the ship docks there. I like to go up to the Acropolis and see the sights because it is an amazing view once you get up there. There are several different shore excursions to choose from. It really depends on what is an interest for you. I love to go up and see the caryatids. These are the beautiful statues that are part of the Erechtheion, and it's right next to the Acropolis. Again, amazing views once you get up there. I also loved the fact that we could bike in this town. We actually did a bicycling trip where we went through all the different sites. We had an electric bike, and we had an amazing guide that would give us all the information, and we would bike through very bike-friendly areas of the city. One of my most favorite places to visit also is the Temple of Olympian Zeus, which is also known as the Columns of the Olympian, right in the center of Athens. It's a must-see. Now, we are approaching the end of the cruise because we've reached our day 8, but the nice thing about this particular itinerary is you can add pre-days and post-days to your trip. So we have a 2-night Istanbul package. We'll have a chance to visit, again, the Blue Mosque or the Hagia Sophia, and also a 3-night to Cappadocia, which is very popular. Unfortunately, I haven't been there, but it's located very close to Istanbul, and it gives you a chance to learn about the ancient history and the captivating city of Cappadocia, and the time also you can spend visiting Istanbul as well. And then at the beginning or end, again, it doesn't really matter which direction you take this cruise, we have a 2-night extension in Athens, a chance to go visit the temples and the buildings, the museums, and also a 4-night package that's available for you to extend or begin your trip, depending on which direction you take it in. And I know there's a lot more to cover. I did it very quickly and just kind of gave you some little bit of history that I remember and some cities that were my favorite. But I would like to thank our travel partners for inviting you here today to learn a little bit about Viking and a little bit more about this particular itinerary. And I really welcome you on board our ships when the time is right for you to cruise with us. I hope you'll select this itinerary or one of the many itineraries that Viking offers on rivers and oceans and lakes, expedition cruises as well. But we look forward to welcoming you on board. Thank you so much for your time today.